All right, welcome in Mr. Henson's class. All right, so this video series is video 1 out of 1. So the previous two videos, or the previous series that we had, was regarding review 1 and review 2. That is, how do scientists model things? And the second was, how do scientists perform anything? So review 1, review 2 covered models and the scientific method. In this case, we're going to be talking about how to represent data. So when you're representing data or information, there are lots of different ways to do so. As we already established in review 2, okay, there are lots of different ways to model things. In this case, this model is of a poster. This model is of a poster as well. So we also learned that that is what we call the control variable. The fact that these two things are posters helps us control the differences. Now, when we're looking at these two different models, we see that this model is representing measurement in the form of conversions, and this is representing measuring lengths. So it's very important to understand that we are trying to communicate to others in science. We want to observe phenomena, but we just don't want to observe it. We want to record what we saw, and we want to talk to people and tell them, hey, can you confirm this for me? That is the idea behind converting one form of information into another. You're talking to another person. And so the fact that you're talking to a different scientist, as you saw with the ways that we can model the scientific method, scientists might not take the same number of steps to get to the same conclusion. So there needs to be a way to communicate or translate between two different people. And in this case, we're looking for ways to translate between data and figures. So this way is called the standard. This way is called the metric. Those are two different ways to measure objects. Over here, they say this is called conversions. A conversion is a way to equalize two different standards. So they're both saying the same thing, but there is a 2-to-1 ratio attached to it. There are two ways to measure the same thing, but there's only one way to convert between it. Or you can say there's two ways to convert between things, but there's still only going to be one measurement. So, knowing that there are ways to communicate, you should think about there being ways to translate communications. So, in the case of this side, this is called the standard way because this is how Americans learn conversions. So I have inches, yards, foot, and miles. We all know there's 12 inches in a foot. Now you know that there's 3 feet in a yard and there's 5,280 feet in a mile. Okay? We can also say that here's an inch. It's about the size of a paperclip. We can say that 12 paper clips will give you a foot. So, when you're talking in American, when we're converting in the standard form, we're converting images. That's why it's easier for people in America to see images being converted. Versus over here, this is everywhere else in the world. And they use words to convert the image. So it says we have centimeters to meter. There's 100 centimeters and 1 meter. So here's a side note. The word centi means 100, like century. So I know that if I have centi and then I have the suffix meters, I know I have to have 100 centimeters or 1 meter. Let's go backwards. The word kilo means 1,000. So if I have the word kilo as a prefix, okay, then I have the word meter. Now I know that 1 kilometer or 1,000 meters is just equal to 1,000 meters. Now that is the conversion. That is the difference between being in America and driving down the road and seeing there's 50 miles to your next destination, or being in another country like Mexico and seeing there are 76.5 kilometers to your next destination. Moving on. Converting between things is equalizing differences. You can equalize a difference with multiplication, or you can equalize a difference between division. How you decide to equalize those things depends on you and who you're talking to. So, in the case of this top example, there's 12 inches, okay, being multiplied by 2.54 centimeters. Now we're going from inches into centimeters. We have to find what we call a unit rate. This unit rate is just a number that has 2 units attached to it. In this case, we have the unit centimeters and we have the unit inches. Centimeters in an inch is being multiplied by inch. Get rid of the things that are the same. So in this case, I have inches, and I also have inches. Cancel them. Get rid of inch, get rid of inch. All you should be left with now is centimeters. So that is conversion from going from one thing to the next. But wait, there's more. We also have a way to go backwards. So if I have 51 centimeters, then that's my unit. Then I have my unit rate, which has centimeters and inches. Now I cancel out centimeters, and I should be left with inches. But we're now using division. So if you divide 51 centimeters into 2.54 centimeters per inch, you'll be left with 20.08 inches. So that is super important to understand. We have 2 different ways to convert. We can go forward and we can go backwards. In that case, you have to use your 2-to-1 ratio. See you next time.